Hello, I'm Rob Slater. Welcome back to the Clearwater Safety channel, where we aim to bring you practical solutions to your real world safety problems. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button to make sure you don't miss new videos as they're released. Also, make sure you check out the links to the companies we work with.
It's hot! Damn hot! Real hot! Hotter than this is my shorts. I can cook things in it.
You may have noticed it's getting hot again, and people keep asking me, is there a maximum temperature they're allowed to work in? Well, the simple answer is no. There are minimum working temperatures for offices, shops or other indoor workplaces where you're sedentary, but not for hot weather. The law says that working temperature must be reasonable, but there's no actual definition of reasonable. Put simply, there's no law for a maximum working temperature or when it's too hot to work. Now, that said, employers must stick to health and safety at work law, including keeping the temperature at a comfortable level, sometimes known as thermal comfort, and providing clean and fresh air. So what causes the working environment to become too hot? Well, obviously the weather is a major factor. When it's hot outside, your office or wherever will warm up, especially if you have lots of glass walling. It could be the processes within your workshop, maybe ovens or kilns, machinery or things like welding. It may sound obvious, but the more physical work we do, the more heat we produce, and therefore the hotter we become. It could of course be the clothing or the uniform you need to wear, including PPE. And it could be your own fitness level, and of course you may be a lady of a certain age with your own personal furnace. So what can we do about it? Well, let's start with the environment. Have shades or blinds or reflective films fitted to deflect the sun. Bright or direct sun is always very hard to work in anyway, so having it reduced will certainly help in several ways. Obviously aircon is lovely if your workplace has it, but if not, then desk or floor fans will make for a good alternative, although they may only push warm air around, so you may need to combine this with open windows. If you have heat generating tools or equipment, there may not be an awful lot you can do. Ventilation combined with fans is probably about all you can do. Now, you probably can't do an awful lot to change how quickly you actually need to work, especially if it's a physical or manual job. But maybe you can start earlier in the day before the day warms up. I once started at a client site at 5 o'clock in the morning to get a wall plastered before the midsummer sun made it too hot to work. The clothing you wear will certainly have an effect on how much heat your body retains. Layers of thin clothing will help stay warm in cooler temperatures by trapping air between the layers. So removing layers will help to reduce the insulation and will therefore allow your body to sweat and therefore cooling you. On the subject of clothing, we do need to talk about PPE. Now, high-vis clothing in particular is made from synthetic materials which retains the heat, causes the wearer to sweat considerably, which can cause heat stress and dehydration. Now, it's important that employers, particularly people like building site managers, understand the dangers of clothing causing overheating. It's obviously very important that the right PPE, i.e. high-vis, is worn around moving vehicles, or hard hats are worn underneath other workers or whatever. But employers do need to consider the suitability of enforcing the wearing of long sleeve tops or even long trousers. Let's be honest, the wearing of shorts or t-shirts is not normally a health and safety issue. I have heard it said that some of the big contractors are so risk averse that they're afraid somebody will get sunburnt on their site and then years later will attempt to claim they developed skin cancer from that one event. Really? In all honesty, they're more likely to suffer from heat exhaustion. But hey. So what else can you do? Well, hydration is the key. Make sure you have access to cool or cold drinks. Some people do like to drink hot tea instead. Science does say this can help you keep you cool, but only if you're able to sweat. If you're wrapped up in clothing, it won't do you any good whatsoever. Make sure your workforce can have regular breaks, maybe more than normal. The heat will slow people down, and of course it will fog the brain. Now, this can have a serious effect on their ability to concentrate, particularly if they're using machinery. Importantly, you need to educate your workforce. Tell them about the symptoms of heat stress. Now, these will include tiredness or dizziness, headache, feeling sick, excessive sweating, becoming clammy or getting a rash, cramps, increased breathing or heart rate, and of course a very high temperature, being very, very thirsty and general weakness. If you think someone is suffering from a heat stroke, then you need to remove them from the source of the heat. Maybe remove extra clothing, give them cold drinks, and maybe damp them down with sponges or cloths. If you have, use a bit of water mist. And of course, if they're having breathing problems, you may want to dial 111 or 999. So if you are struggling in this heat wave, talk to your HR people or your company HS advisor. Just remember, too much heat is bad for worker safety and productivity. So keep cool and carry on, and I'll see you in the next one.